Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tabor Talk. So I'm not going to play. Working on a new theme song. I just learned while I'm working on it today. The Rush's "Fly by Night," really cool song. I'm not going to play it just yet. So I'll get it down now. I just literally 20 minutes ago I started working on it, but I really like it, and it's so cool. So all right, getting right into this. Joe Rogan has Stephen Dubner on. Wow, Joe gets listen, Joe is the number one podcast. He could basically get whoever he wants. I remember Joe talking about a couple of months ago, because all the candidates, the Democratic candidates, wanted to come on a show, right? So, Elizabeth Warren camp, the Biden camp. He had Tulsi Gabbard on and Bernie, and I think Andrew Yang. Like, this is over the past 6 months or so. And he turned them down. So Joe, listen, Joe is, as they say, the Tonight Show. It's like the most important media platform. It really is. It really is. He's the Johnny Carson. I mean, he really is. Or if you want to call him the Oprah of podcasting, the Howard Stern of radio, the Johnny Carson of whatever. So he's very influential. Huge, very. He's got a lot of power. And Joe's humble. He doesn't like to talk about himself. He's just a great guy. So anyway, I want to talk about fear and anxiety. I've talked about this a bit on some of my videos. I used to have a panic disorder. I used to have severe anxiety attacks. So more than just anxiety, like outright panic, where I would just freak out. I got them in high school. My first anxiety attack was a junior in high school, and tragically, one of our classmates, too, actually were killed in a car accident. And I was freaking out. I'm 16 years old. I wasn't very close to them. I knew them; they were classmates. But I went to the funeral, and it was the wake where I had the anxiety, and it was just overwhelming. I didn't know what death was. It was horrible. Perhaps I didn't even have a grandmother who died. I just wasn't exposed to it at that age, and just so horribly and sadly, these two kids, young kids, 16, 17 years old, and you just see them in a casket. It was just beyond words horrifying, and I freaked the fuck out. And I didn't make a scene or anything. I just had this panic attack. I had to get out of there, and there, the body learned how to respond to stress that way. That's what it is. And it was a huge problem for years. Going anywhere, being closed out, and I overcame it. I don't have it at all. I don't have any panic, any anxiety, zero. And there are ways of dealing with it. And by the way, I've done videos on this too. The medication route, I tried all that shit. The Valium, the benzodiazepine, Xanax, Valium, Librium, all that shit. The SSRIs. It's not smart. Don't go down that route. Listen, if you really need it, fine. But it's not smart. I don't like the SSRIs either. Like, people will say, especially the controlled substances like Xanax and all that, because it's highly addictive and cause a lot of problems. But they're worse than the SSRIs. But I don't like the SSRIs either. So it's really what helped me. I'm going to play a clip from Stephen Dubner. Boy, I'm really all over the place. I apologize. From guitar, Joe Rogan, Stephen Dubner, anxiety and fear and all that. But that's kind of what I do, Tabor Talk, right? Informal, spontaneous, no outline, the whole thing. So I'm going to play this clip, and then I'll talk a little bit more. But really, for me, it's how I got over this is good old, really cognitive therapy, meditation. And I have a sort of hybrid sort of meditation. It's a combination of Vipassana, which is really mindfulness or insight meditation, focused attention, and then a little bit of TM, transcendental meditation. But here's how I dealt with it. Joe's going to talk about his fear of flying, Joe Rogan, and how he gets high, and it intensifies his fear. And Joe, okay, let me play, and then I'll talk. Okay, here's Stephen Dubner. I'll just place the phone down here. You don't have to see it.
CNN have with airports.
Oh, they're talking.
I think it kind of made everybody hate CNN, blasting when you don't want to hear
They're
it.
talking about
That's right,
CNN
right.
at airports. They're getting right into flying.
But it's
right?
also, it's like, you don't want to be looking at all the world's problems when you're about to get on the most stressful thing that a person does.
You
right?
have a flying. You have to self-medicate pretty heavily before flying. I understand.
No, I don't have to.
The
You
lighting's
enjoy it.
shitty,
I
but
You
so
enjoy it more.
Yeah. Well, this is the way I think of it. On a plane, one of two things gets either I get some work done or I get some entertainment. I watch a movie on the laptop or I'll get some writing in.
Right.
Or I can get really, really high and then get on that and just freak the fuck out and make it, but go through a roller coaster ride of thoughts. And a lot of times I wind up writing too. You know, if
Wait,
if
when
I
you
have
get
an
high,
edible.
you have a worse experience on the plane than
No,
you're saying?
no, it's not worse. It's just scary. It's not worse.
And scary is not worse.
No, because there's benefits to it. There's
Huh.
benefits in terms of like creativity and then insight and like I have a whole bit about it, but it is based on the truth. Like I oftentimes take a heavy dose of edibles and then get on a plane.
In order to intentionally put yourself in a state
Yeah,
that can be somewhat negative, but also creativity.
I don't use that word negative. I don't think of it
Interesting.
as negative. Even when I'm freaking out, like if I'm sitting in the chair and I'm like, whoo, and I'm looking out the window, we're flying, and I'm realizing we're 30,000 feet in the air, and I'm, really fucking high.
Is this so? I'm not a roller coaster person.
I
But
don't like
is
roller
this
coasters.
but is this a similar kind of like you intentionally put yourself in a scenario where you're going to heighten some senses? Is that the idea?
No, because I think a roller coaster is just fun, right?
okay.
It's just goofs. This
Very
is
good.
an essential thing you're doing. You're traveling to a place.
Let me
where you're
pause
going
this,
to,
okay.
And as you're doing, you're
Let's get into
incredibly
something.
vulnerable.
Okay, so that's what it is. And I remember somebody really helped me. This was years ago, probably like 15 years ago. And this guy says, I'm having all this anxiety, and I'm then like anywhere, like go and get my hair cut. I'm like, oh, in an elevator. It's fucking horrible. Not just planes. It was just ruining my life. And then this doctor, whatever, he says, like instead of pushing that away, embrace the fear. And it's interesting that Joe said like roller coaster, and Stephen Dubner said like think of it as a roller coaster, like enjoy the adrenaline, like think about the physiology, right? So when you're on a ride like a roller coaster, that thrill, it's exciting and it's fun and it's pleasurable. If you look, it's the same chemicals, but it's just the attitude. Your attitude going down a roller coaster because it's fun, it's amusement, and it's the same damn thing as if, but the only thing that's different is the dread part. So I think there's the key. So instead of pushing away the fear, I don't like this, I don't want to be here, embrace it, just as Joe says, and make better use of it. Now, it's easier said than done. You just have to be exposed. There's another thing called exposure therapy, just going to the places. But when that feeling comes, and I know it's easier said than done because I've been in that situation, but literally you get, let me put it this way. You're comfortable with discomfort. Like discomfort is no big deal. You're sort of toughening yourself. You're getting tough in a way. Like heart palpitations, you just go with it. You get when you practice this meditation, adding this vipassana, you're basically observing this feeling. So it's almost like it's a form of stoicism too. It's like the good and bad. You're not judging at all. You're sort of perched up. You feel, let's just say you're having heart palpitations, your mind is racing or whatever. You just observe this feeling coming and going and passing. So I'm going to do some more of this. I'm almost at 10 minutes, but I hope you got something out of this. And I'll be learning this song, so, this Fly By Night. This might be my theme song. I made some mistakes, and I'm doing it my own way, too.